Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Today is such a special episode because I get to welcome a returning guest. It doesn't happen often, so I'm very excited. You may remember her story, episode 39, if you want to go back in time um, from last year. This guest shared her courageous, heartwarming, heart wrenching at times, resilient, empowering, inspiring story. She was vulnerable with us. She shared something that's really near and deep to her heart. And it was such an episode that touched so many women. So I was so grateful at the time to have her. She dropped a little hint that maybe one day she would love to write a book. That was her declaration to the universe because fast forward to today, Leigh-Ann Ouellet is back with us and she is launching her book. Welcome to the podcast.
Elsie, thank you. I'm so excited. Thank you for asking me to come back. I
Oh
had
my
so
gosh.
much fun the first time. So
Yes.
yeah.
And it made so much sense to have you back for so many reasons. But first, if people missed your story last time, I want to talk about it again because I do have new listeners. I want to promote your book because it's absolutely amazing. I didn't know you were such a good writer. And yeah, I just want to see where you're at in life. So, again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. My God, quite the welcome.
Okay, so I have some notes on the side. I want to make sure I ask the good questions. So yeah, it's been about a year. Where are you in life right now? How do you feel about everything that's been happening in the last year?
I'm actually, I think I can say that I feel very proud and very fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
And most of all, I feel very fortunate that I was able to do this. I'm fortunate that I was able to have the energy, the momentum, and even the space, like the headspace in like the mental space to
Mm-hmm.
go through with writing this book.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when I say space, it did not come easily because I had to create it, right? It's something that I had to create over and over again. Not only did it take a lot of discipline, but it took a lot of self-compassion and a lot of kindness towards myself.
Mm-hmm.
But having done a little bit of a pre-sale of the book 3 weeks ago, the feedback that I received has been validating, such as what you just said. Like it warms my heart every time. And every time I get a message or I see somebody who tells me they read it, I get so I just really, really feel it makes me feel good, and not just because you're like, oh, you're a good writer, you wrote something really wonderful. It's just that it's to me, it's the start of something influential. It is surreal seeing my book online and everybody reposting and things like that. Yes, it's cool. But I really feel that it's the start of a conversation that can be very powerful and very well empowering for women and families and everybody that has a glimpse into that book. So
So I'm going to, can I share what it looks like?
yeah, of
So
course.
this is the book.
Mm, thank you.
Morning dove, morning dove. I asked her right before this, my French, English, it's a dove, morning dove.
Oh, yes, and it's not about birds. It says it there. Yes, it's not about
So
birds. It was
I was just going to say, tell us a bit about your story for people that are new to you and didn't listen to episode 39. Give us an
course.
overview of what happened in Leigh-Ann's life.
Yes. So many things happen. I'm gonna try to keep it brief. Go to episode 39 if you if you want the whole
Give our
story,
own details.
if you want the tears and all. So when this happened about 13 years ago, the first time, there's nothing that my husband and I wanted more than to start a family. So I got pregnant. I went up until 23 weeks of pregnancy. Everything was normal. Everything was looking good. I was feeling good. Everything was um, nothing out of the ordinary. And all of a sudden, I started bleeding and started getting really, really big cramps. And I was rushed to the hospital and I was in labor and I had to deliver that my little boy at 23 weeks pregnant. There was a lot of stress surrounding the situation. Yes, of course, I was losing our little boy, but at first, because I was bleeding and we didn't know what was going on, and there was also a little bit of like confusion as to what was going on with my own health. And at one point, my husband Denny and I, we looked at each other and we thought, okay, we're not leaving the hospital, the three of us, like we
Mm,
came in, right? So that was a little, no, not a little, very traumatic. So that was, there was the whole wrath of emotions that follow such trauma and the loss that came through that, like the depression, the PTSD, the anxiety. My focus after that was to fall to get pregnant again. I said I really, really wanted to be a mother, and we really wanted to start our own family, my husband and I. But we were kind of still protecting our hearts as much as we could. I get pregnant again, second time. This time it's a little girl. We are over the moon. We're beyond excited. 20-week scan looked no 20-week scans, I think looked normal, or I can't really recall. Anyways, 21 weeks, we get confirmation that she has a severe birth defect. And that was in relation to blood work that we had done. It wasn't related to the scans. Anyways, medical details aside, we had to make a very difficult decision to terminate that pregnancy. So we said goodbye to our little girl at 21 weeks again because her condition was very severe. And both births were actual births because of the size of the where I was over 20 weeks. So that was very, very difficult. It took, a toll on me mentally, physically. I wasn't myself for at least, I want to say 10 years. I was full of anxiety and there was, jealousy and things that come with it and things that you feel and you don't have words to say how you feel when you're in a situation like that sometimes. And I just feel like that pregnancy loss is so like people do not talk about it that much because some people say, oh, it's a medical event. It's not just a medical event. You know what I mean?
mhm.
It's very,
Yeah.
very devastating. Yeah.
Mm,
So we decided, I say we, no, my husband did not write the book, but he did help me write it with refreshing my memory and things like that when things got hard. But I am very grateful he was there to support me. So that's what I meant when I said that I was grateful for the support that I had. It was one of the things that was very dear to me.
there's so many things I want to talk about. Like, first of all, the fact that you and your husband are still together and
Mm,
in a happy marriage, it's such a
mhm.
beautiful thing because
Thank you.
I think I read somewhere like the statistics of people
Mhm.
losing a child, how often they cannot stay together after, like
Yeah.
it's just too hard to bear. And the fact that it happened twice and you're still choosing one another is just, I find that's very beautiful.
Thank
um
you.
yeah, it's, I think it's very beautiful. There is a paragraph in your book that really, I had to read it a couple times because it really, oh, like it was, I don't know, it was just so surreal to me. You said that with your first pregnancy, you were in the hospital and they had just told you the news that most likely you would give birth and your baby would not survive going through that.
Mm.
And after mentioning that, you said that you were feeling all the kicks and the jumps in your belly, like right before.
I know that, Rennie, I think is the most difficult thing that I wrote. And that is the most difficult memory for me. That is the one that I will remember forever, is knowing that I will have to say goodbye to m- my little my little guy. And I kept saying, I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And it's, I know, and I'm actually, trying not to tear up, but it's difficult.
Ah,
I know I'm seeing you now, but if there's one memory, that's the one.
yeah,
That's the one.
that one got me. I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I
Yeah.
can't for tonight. But it's so good and it's so beautiful. And what I love about your book is that you found a way to keep it light, even in
Mm.
such like a dark and heavy subject. And you have jokes in there, and you're being yourself and you're being goofy, and that makes it so relatable, and it brings out like a more light way of seeing that situation. And I think it's just like every woman should read that book. It's so
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah,
So that's
it's
one of the things that um one of the things that I want readers to take away when they read the book is, like, first of all, it's funny. Like, there are some funny
yeah,
parts.
yeah,
Do laugh. It's really
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Yes, it contains grief, it contains loss. I mean, there's a trigger warning on page one, right?
yeah,
But that's not the whole story, right? Life is
yeah,
messy, life is confusing. And if you find yourself laughing in the middle of a chapter that you were bawling your eyes out just 2 pages before, that's
yeah,
not wrong. That's
yeah.
real.
It's
That's
life.
real. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
life.
yeah, it's life. So
Um,
thank you for saying that. Yeah.
yeah. How was the like? So obviously, it happened, a few years ago now. You said around
Mhm.
like 13 years.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like, and I'm just talking from, I have no, I don't have that experience, so I'm really not sure how it
Yeah.
went for you.
Yeah.
But over like the years, obviously there's parts of you that started healing, and maybe it felt a little better, and maybe life kept going and you found some purpose in different things. And but how was it for you to like sit down and like revisit all of these memories in such a raw and real way?
Yeah. So there are some parts that were healing. So you hear a lot of writers say that writing is therapeutic, and that is actually true.
Right,
But it comes with caveat that it is healing, but it's also kind of painful, right?
right.
Depending on what you're writing about. So this is funny. I like to say this. Writing for me, not maybe not for everybody, for me it was like peeling an onion. So
Mm,
there were layers and
yeah.
layers of memories, of emotions and stories that were just tucked away. And that's the process, right? So as I was peeling, I was like, oh, I forgot about this. And I uncovered something fresh, a new perspective. And I uncovered something that I had, tucked away intentionally, probably.
Yeah,
So we stored that in a file, locked it with a key, threw the key away. Those are the
right.
things that I was uncovering while I was writing and revisiting my whole situation. And sometimes I'd get some waves of emotions that I didn't forget. I didn't forget. I didn't expect.
Mm,
Um, And well, the onions make you cry, right? So I
Yeah.
did cry a few times. But I had to step away from some chapters, not because I didn't want to write them, but I wanted to feel them. I needed to feel them. And I had, when I was writing, to provide the most accurate picture to readers, you had to sit with the grief,
Mm,
to sit with the confusion and the silence that I lived through, and to really replicate it into writing, right? So the hardest parts to write weren't necessarily the most painful. Well, yes, they were painful, but I think it was um, the stories that felt too big for words, if that makes sense.
mm,
But I kept writing because I knew if I found the words, maybe someone else wouldn't have to feel alone, right? Maybe they'd read one of my sentences and go, oh, that's exactly how I felt. Wow, I feel seen. I just didn't know how to say it.
yeah.
So that's kind of what pushed me through the whole thing.
Mm,
And yeah, revisiting did, ask a lot of ask a lot out of me, because I had to open doors that
mm,
I had closed, to never see the scary stuff again, right? So,
mm. How, if you allow me, and we don't have to go
mm,
into details, like how was
mm.
it for your husband?
Oh, there was one chapter, the one where we just spoke about where,
Yeah.
the first guy, um, he read that and he was clearly very emotional, but
Mm,
I think the pride that he felt, and knowing that we were telling the story of our little family that
mm,
never happened, was very validating for him. And I think he really was rooting for me the whole time. And that was stronger than, the sadness of
mm.
the situation. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Um, did you discover anything about yourself during that process that you're like, that you'd want to share?
Yeah. I expressed a lot. I realized, and this is actually one of my lessons that I talk about, like lessons learned throughout
Mhm.
the whole thing. Um, I expressed a lot of gratitude, and I did that at the beginning again, but I talk about gratitude a lot. I feel fortunate, and I do appreciate the opportunity that to have had done this, and not just for the support at home, but realizing how far I have come to been able to do this. I'm grateful for the mindset, to finally be in a place where I can put my stories into words. I'm I've always been a natural optimistic, which I think played probably a huge role in my healing. And I always like to say that positivity promotes peace.
Mm,
And to me, I think I finally feel at peace with this. And I think this book was probably the little bow on this whole package that is saying, like, this is what happened. Here it is. Like, use it as a, guide or a companion if you need a friend, if you're going through the same thing.
mm,
And while going through it, and I felt, sometimes I felt like, oh my God, my ideas are flowing. Like, I'm having a good time. I love writing because I've always loved writing, right? I was always, was doing it for the little girl in me, the little girl that was obsessed with reading and obsessed with Barbies and mermaids and Archie comic books and all of those things, right? So I was also doing it for her. However, there were some times where it was flowing really, really nice, and I was thinking of that little girl. But you know, after that, I would be like, nah, I feel kind of dull. This is mundane. That's not great, you know? And then there were some other times where I'd go like, oh my God, this is shit. Like this sucks. Like, oh, I'm never gonna sell this book. Nobody's gonna want to read this. Imposter syndrome was at my door and they were like, can we come in? Yeah, no. So I felt really crappy. And I listened to something this week and it all made sense. It's a quote, I can't remember who it's from, but it's when you're doing something big, when you're working on your passion or you're doing something exciting for yourself, you are supposed, it's the emotional rule, excuse me, emotional rule of thirds. So 1/3 of the time you're supposed to feel good. 1/3 of the time you're supposed to feel okay, it's fine. And the other third, you're feeling crappy.
Mm.
And if you roughly feel that ratio while going through it, it means you're doing it right, apparently.
Well,
So I was like, well, okay, it's published now. So I was doing it right.
oh my gosh, it's truly life changing, that book. What do you want your readers to leave with after reading that book, especially
So
if they're going through something similar?
yeah, yeah. Um, See, I think if you're going, especially if you're going through it, it is going to hurt. It is going to suck. Resiliency is something is that doesn't come easily. Um, Resiliency is cyclical. Resiliency after going through something like that also takes time.
Mm,
So what I'm trying to say, where I'm getting at, I guess, is that sometimes you want to avoid the triggers, you want to avoid the noise, you want to avoid the baby showers and all of those things. And that's okay. But don't live in avoidance for too long because that's what I did. And that significantly delayed my healing.
mm,
Um, so if I would have faced my emotions, if I would have faced the situations, I was pretending that everything was okay. I was pretending that, oh yeah, I had a miscarriage 2 weeks ago, and now I'm at a boot camp class. Like,
mm,
okay, no. Anyways, so all that to say is that stop pretending,
mm,
own your emotions, feel your emotions, and believe that you're going to be on the other side one day.
mm,
And it's going to be sooner than you think. And um, I think that is the kind of richness that comes from learning. I think that's the kind of richness that comes from finally learning that you're able to go through that.
mm,
And you're the main character in your book, right? You are, the main character of your life. And what happens to the main character? That main character always survives,
mm.
right? So,
Very true.
um, yeah. So I just want them, I would love for readers to feel empowered, take ownership, recognize that while support is beautiful and it's necessary, relying too heavily on external validation can leave you disappointed.
Mm,
And avoidance of situations, as I was referring to before, avoidance of baby showers and things like that, can be very shiny and look good because it feels good in the moment, but it does delay your healing and is a very false illusion of no, sorry, a false sense of protection that
mm,
you're,
mhm.
you know. it's an illusion of strength. So that's kind of what I experienced. I'm not a psychologist. I have lived experiences.
Yes, well, it's very powerful. I will tell you that. I'm excited because on September 19th, I
Yay.
will be at your book launch.
Yes, you will.
There's still some tickets, right? There's
Yes.
still a few
Yes.
tickets left. Where can we get the tickets?
Hey.
And tell me more about where we can purchase the books because that's all going to happen the same day, I think.
Yeah. So we
Okay.
did have a pre-sale. That's how Renee had her hands on a copy. And you may know some people that also got their hands on a copy, but we did a pre-sale because we wanted to see how it sold, who bought it, and things like that. We wanted to work out a few kinks before it goes, officially live. And the response was really actually very overwhelming. So we were really happy. All that to say, September 19th, we will be launching at 6. Well, doors open at 6. Event starts at 6:30 at the Candace Hilton in Moncton. It's a Friday night. I made sure that the event be a representation of what we are doing. Yes, we are launching a book, but we are also celebrating resiliency. We are celebrating empowerment, and we are celebrating ourselves. Like we all have, power. We all have influence. We all have resiliency. So that's what the night is about. That's why we're going to have a bar. That's why we're going to have some fun. Uh, so Renee and I are going to have a little bit of a podcast version on a nice couch. We're going to have this conversation, and then we will talk a little bit about the book. We will be talking about what's next because I did launch my company called LAO Publishing. So that is the Facebook page that you need to look for. That is my business page. And that's where the Eventbrite ticket for the launch is posted, as well as the link for the purchasing of the book. That's where it's going to be active. Once it's activated, it's going to be copied on the Facebook page as well. And that's what I think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
For
And we
19.
can find you on Instagram,
Yeah, so
your
at
personal
Leigh-Ann
page.
Ouellet.
And
Facebook. Mhm.
yes, I'm going
Really?
to add like everything,
Oh yeah.
all the links down below in the episode description. So if you are not sure how to spell it, whatever, you can look down and everything's going to be there. What an exciting chapter for you.
Thank
And
you.
also, what a gift that you're giving the world, sharing your story, sharing your passion for writing. I'm so incredibly proud of you, proud to call you
Oh,
my friend and to have
oh,
you in my circle. And I can't wait for September 19th. I'm
oh.
so excited.
I'm excited too. Yay.
Oh, thank you
Merci.
so much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for being here again. To our listeners, thank you so much for being here. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. If you are going through something similar, please make sure that you read the book, make sure that you get the support that you need, and just know that you will be okay. We are here if you want to chat, of course, always myself,
Mhm.
Leigh-Ann. Um, and yeah, we're just here for all of you.
100%.
So thank you so much again, Leigh-Ann.
100%. Thank you. Okay.
All right. Bye,
See ya.
everyone.